If you're a support engineer who deals with APIs, this is going to be a game changer for you. I'm about to show you how you can test literally any API and reproduce almost any customer issue without writing a single line of code. And we're going to do it all using a tool called Postman. Oh man, we've all been there, right? A ticket lands in your queue, and the message is, well, it's vague. It's broken. And now it's your job to figure out what's happening, and fast. Is it their code? Is it our API? I mean, where do you even begin? That's the exact problem we're going to tackle today. So here's our game plan. In 5 simple steps, we're going to go from total uncertainty to having a brand new support superpower. We'll start with the why, then get our hands dirty fetching and sending data, learn how to see things just like a user does, and finally, we'll solve a real-world ticket together. So what is the superpower I'm talking about? It's the ability to perfectly, and I mean perfectly, reproduce a customer's issue right there on your own machine. And the tool that gives you this power is Postman. You know, you can think of Postman as like a universal remote for any API out there. Instead of having to ask a developer to write a special script, you can just use its simple interface to send requests and see exactly what the server sends back. This means you can take the exact data a customer is using, run the very same request, and instantly see if you get the same error. It just takes all the guesswork out of debugging. It's awesome. All right, let's get our hands dirty. The most common type of API request you're ever going to make is a GET request. It's basically just like typing a URL into your browser. You're just asking a server to get you some information. Simple as that. Making a GET request in Postman is incredibly easy. First, you just paste the API's URL right into the address bar. We're using a free public API here, so you can practice right along with me. Second, you just want to make sure the dropdown right next to the URL is set to GET. Third, and this is the best part, you hit that big blue send button, and boom, the response pops up in the panel right below. That's it, you've just talked to an API. Now, before you even look at the data, the very first thing you should check is the status code. If you see 200 OK, that's the universal signal for success. It means the server understood your request, it found what you asked for, and it sent it back with 0 problems. So every response has 3 key parts. We just saw the status code. Now the body. That's the main event. It's the actual data, like user info or a list of products, usually in a nice structured format called JSON. And then you've got headers, which is really just extra info, metadata, about the response itself. You won't always need to look at it, but it can be super useful for more advanced debugging. Okay, so getting data is great, but what about when a user is trying to create something? Like making a new post or adding an item to their shopping cart. For that, we use something called a post request. This lets us simulate exactly what the user's application is trying to do. The difference here is actually really simple. A GET request is like reading a book from the library. A post request, on the other hand, is like writing your own book and adding it to the library's collection. You're not just asking for data, you're sending new data to be stored. And setting this up is just as easy. First, you'll change the method in the dropdown from GET to POST. Now, since we're sending data, we need to add it to the request's body. So you click the Body tab, select Raw, and then make sure the format is set to JSON. Then you can just paste in the data you want to create. This is how you perfectly mimic the action that might be failing for your user. Okay, now for what I think is the most important part of reproducing user issues: authentication. See, most APIs require you to prove who you are. By using the customer's credentials, with their permission, of course, you can see the API from their exact perspective. You're mostly going to run into 2 types: an API key, which is a simple secret key, and a bearer token, which is a more complex token that proves you've already logged in. In Postman, you just go to the authorization tab, pick the right type from the list, and paste in the key or token. Postman literally handles all the tricky formatting for you. It's fantastic. All right, team. It is mission time. Let's combine everything we've just learned and solve a classic support ticket from start to finish. Let's do this. Here's the situation. A customer is trying to access a specific part of the API, but they just keep getting a 403 forbidden error. Now, this usually means there's a problem with their permissions, or maybe their authentication is just wrong. Our mission is to verify this. So here's our 3-step plan. 1, we copy the exact URL the user is trying to access. 2, we head over to the authorization tab and pop in the API key or token they gave us. And 3, we hold our breath and click send. And success.
Well, I guess a successful failure. We got the exact same 403 forbidden error that the customer reported. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the power of this tool. We've just confirmed the entire issue in less than a minute.
Let's just take a moment to really appreciate what we just did here. You didn't just solve a ticket. You kind of transformed the entire support process. You confirmed the problem instantly. You proved it wasn't some weird issue on the user's computer, and you created a perfect test case you can just hand to the development team. The ticket you pass them isn't, a user says it's broken, it's, here's the exact request that fails every single time. That is a massive game changer. By mastering these simple techniques in Postman, you're not just relaying messages between customers and developers anymore. You are now the first line of defense, the master of replication, and the fastest path to getting a real solution. So go on, open up Postman, and see what you can discover.